Hey, Internet. Remember us? We are Camera Dads. Welcome back. I don't know what episode number it is, but that doesn't matter so much. I'm Phil, and across the wire with me, as always, is my brother and co host, Mr. Simon. Simon, how are you tonight?
Hey Phil, I'm doing great. Thanks for doing another Camera Dads. It's a beautiful evening. We got rain outside and got the computer on inside, and so it's a good time for a podcast. So what are we talking about tonight,
Agreed.
Phil?
Yeah, so tonight we kind of want to talk about video and just sort of in general, what do we do as far as taking videos of our kids, our families, whatever? Do we use DSLRs, take videos, cell phones, whatever? And just kind of see where that takes us.
I like
Something
it.
we've never really talked about video before. So
I like it.
can I jump right in
You can
with
jump right
a
in.
a
Jump
technical
in.
question for you?
Jump in.
In that, let me say that I never use my DSLR for recording videos
Okay.
because, quite frankly, I don't know how. And I wonder if there are other camera dads out there that are in the same boat. So I should have wish I brought it down here with me, but um, there have been a few times that this is just kind of embarrassing, but there have been a few times that I have been able to take video with my DSLR. It's a Nikon D3200, and I've only been able to do it with the prime lens,
Okay.
and it's been it's been years since I've even putzed with it to
Right.
bother to figure that out. Can
Okay.
you enlighten
I
me and
sure
hopefully
can.
somebody else out there on this?
I can. So here's the deal with DSLR video, and this does not hold true for mirrorless camera videos. DSLRs, by their nature, most of them, like because of how the physics of a DSLR work, most of them um, make it a little difficult to do video because of how they focus. And most DSLRs, there's a video mode on the top. Like there's this little dial, and you click it over from like aperture value, shutter value, manual, program, and then video is one of the options. And then you click record, and it just starts recording a video. That's the so like getting it to do a video is not that difficult, but making the video do what you want it to do is difficult because the focusing is really crummy in video mode.
Okay,
So
I don't exactly understand, and I'm really genuinely curious about this. And
okay.
I'm sorry if I'm jumping in on such a hard note right
You're
off the bat
you're
here.
you're probably
I
one of
mean,
many people who have the same question.
I have this, $400 camera that I've used for years and years, and it takes great photos. So why isn't it just as easy for me to, like you said, flip the dial to the little green video guy and take some video, right? I don't want to read the whole book
Right.
or
So
whatever.
a big part of it has to do with how you've got a Nikon, with how your Nikon focuses. And your Nikon and a lot of DSLRs, unless you have a high-end Canon, they use a focusing system called contrast detect. And if you're recording a video, the picture is constantly going like focusing in and out, because it can't keep up with whatever's moving on screen.
Is
In
that the same sound? Is that the same sound that you hear when you hold the focus button partway and you hear it trying to focus on
Right,
something?
right. So when you're looking through the viewfinder on your DSLR, it uses a focusing system called phase detect, it literally knows. It uses a triangle. It uses trigonometry to determine how far away you are, and it immediately goes whoosh, and it snaps into focus. And then it can track you. So if you move around, like if you're walking towards me or away from me, it knows if you're walking towards me or away from me, and it will focus appropriately. Whereas when you're in video with your DSLR, it doesn't work like that. All it knows is, Phil's not in focus anymore. What do I do? And then it starts going back and forth until it finds you again. And then it says, okay, something's in focus. Oh, it's out of focus. So if you're trying to take videos of your kids with your DSLR, you might as well just give up. It's not going to work because they can't track the kids when they're moving around in the same way that your cell phone can. Your cell phone's way better at video for a variety of reasons than your DSLR. And DSLRs are tricky for a number of reasons when it comes to video. Focusing is a major part of it. And if you have a high-end Canon, they use what's called a dual pixel focusing system, and it's better. But most of your DSLRs are just not going to be great for video unless your subject is standing totally still. Or if you're at like a play, like your kids' play at school, the stage is in the same spot. So you can stand in the back of the room and you don't have to constantly be refocusing all the time because the kids are all relatively in the same spot in terms of like moving forward and backward. So,
okay. Well, so since we're here, is this something that I'm going to break the fourth wall here? Could I or someone in our situation use their DSLR as a webcam to do something like what we're doing right now?
Yeah, in fact, DSLRs were great for stuff like this because you're not really moving. And so if you set your DSLR on you while you are recording a podcast like this, that's awesome because you're not going to be like running around the room. You're in one spot. So you can get your nice, like set up your lens. So you've got a nice shallow depth of field, open up the aperture. And as long as you stay put, then you're going to get a really nice video. You'll have to feed it into your computer somehow. But yeah, that would work great. And a lot of people do that because you get a much better picture quality than a webcam and you don't have the focusing issue. You basically say, focus once and stay there instead of trying to refocus all the time. And just like for the record, I never use video on my DSLRs either. And I've got, my kids are, they're now, they've grown up since we started this podcast. They're 7 and 5. And my oldest has been in soccer this year. I haven't taken a single video of him playing soccer, but I've taken a lot of pictures because I just don't care about shooting video on my DSLR. And that's like, we'll dig into this topic a little more tonight, but all these reasons are why, and there's more, but yeah, not so much about the DSLR video.
Yeah, that's interesting. To be honest, I assumed that there were some technical limitations to why you wouldn't use a DSLR for video, and I've just never really gone back to bother to figure that out. I just kind of assumed that whatever's involved isn't worth the time, and so I'm just going to use my phone to take videos instead. But It sounds like it's more of a DSLR isn't meant for the kind of video, sort of generically speaking here. A camera dad isn't going to use a DSLR to record video for most of the things that their kids are going to do.
Well, it's interesting. Did you ever watch that TV show House?
It's a House MD,
yeah,
right? Doctor.
Yeah,
I know who that guy is.
Okay,
I've never seen the show, but
yeah, Hugh Laurie is the star of it, and I've never seen the show, but years ago, in probably like 2009 or something, they kind of made history by recording an entire episode of that show. It was like the season 3 finale or something. They recorded an entire episode on a DSLR, a Canon 5D Mark II. And that was like a watershed moment in consumer video because they took a camera that you could get at Best Buy and they recorded a episode of broadcast television with it. And it could do like
that sounds crazy.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean nowadays it's not really that big of a deal, but back then, that camera could record in high definition, and it was like no one had ever heard of doing anything like that before. But the thing is, in a studio environment, everything is really tightly controlled. They've got guys whose job is to pull focus, and like that's all they do is they just sit there and they know you're at 8 feet. He's at 6 feet. I need to turn the focusing ring this far to get from you to you. It's really tightly controlled. So you can do that in a studio environment. But in a parent environment with kids running around, forget it. You're just pull out the phone, man. Don't mess with that DSLR. It's going to be more trouble than it's worth for a variety of reasons. So they're capable video machines, but they're not. I don't ever use my DSLR for video.
Okay.
So
Well, no, that's interesting to know. And then I feel a little less, I don't know, guilty or awkward or
no,
whatever about it
you
because
feel you
it's
you are. I hereby absolve you of any and all parental guilt that you may have incurred from not recording your kids with your DSLR. Everything is fine.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because there have been times where during let's say a soccer game or a football game where it
Mhm.
would be nice to use my I have a 55 to 200 millimeter zoom lens that I
Yeah.
take pretty decent photos with of my son across the football field
Yes.
if
Yes,
the
you
daylight
do.
is good.
Yes. Just for
But
everyone listening out there, yes, he really does. He takes great pictures of his kids.
thank you. Um, but I've just kind of given up on the idea of using the camera to take video of
Yeah.
those.
Well,
So
well
I,
and what?
I don't like you mentioned. I don't take video of the kids doing that kind of thing. Actually, I'm pondering this. I don't very often take video of my son playing sports ball,
Okay. Well,
and it's I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Unless you know that something good is going to happen,
sure.
getting your holding your phone out and recording a football game or a basketball game, to me that feels awkward. It's it,
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
I
being
see what you mean.
removed. I'm removing myself from watching the game, from watching my son, and instead I'm looking at my phone, hoping that something video worthy happens. I'm
Okay.
hoping that he'll get a good shot, or he'll score a goal, or that pass is going to be caught, or whatever it is. And there's no way. It's kind of the difference between a studio environment and real life. There's no way to know that something epic is going to happen. So why am I recording the phone? Why am I recording from the phone and then not actually watching the game for myself?
It's interesting. I think this is something that a lot of parents who have invested in a more expensive camera, I think this is something that a lot of them are likely dealing with as well, because on one hand, you've got your phone and that takes video just fine. On the other hand, you've spent all this money on a camera, and so you feel like you should be using that instead for videos of your kids playing sports, or at the park, or at birthday parties, just doing kid stuff. And I've had the same thing where I feel like why I should be using this expensive thing. But even the question of what's video worthy? And my eldest son has been in soccer now for the spring, and so I've had to ask myself that same question of, is this worthy of a video or not? And I have yet to take a video of him playing soccer, because I just have been taking pictures of him playing soccer, and I've learned to be okay with that, I guess. And I think one of the things I've had to realize since having kids is what is worth a video. What's worth that video as opposed to taking pictures? And I'm probably overthinking it, but how did you deal with this issue of when to take videos of your kids, and what do you do? What sort of videos do you film versus taking photos?
I've learned, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I actually had my phone out today taking a couple of videos, and I would much rather. Okay, let me talk about sports. I would much. Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
I have been to one college football game.
Me too.
We're both from Lincoln. Lincoln, Nebraska. I live in Lincoln. Go
Go
Huskers. Go
Huskers.
Big
Yeah.
Red.
We not only are
Um,
we do okay, we both graduated from UNL, so we've got street cred. I mean, if anyone can say "Go Huskers,"
Fair enough.
it's we gave tuition dollars to UNL for many years. So yeah, and yet I've only been to one Huskers game ever.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't enjoy it at all.
I
The
did.
reason I didn't enjoy it, the reason I didn't enjoy it, and this will come back around, is because when I watch football, which for the record I have gotten into much more because of my son, who is so involved in sports that I watch them because of him now, and I like it. But when I watch a football game on TV, I want to let the professional videographers do their job and get the awesome shots of the plays, the replays, the different angles, all of that. To me, that kind of thing makes a, to use the generic term, sports ball game worth recording. Whereas, imagine if you were watching, the Super Bowl with from one camera angle halfway up the stands. Right?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
how you watch the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Nobody would watch the Super Bowl
Yeah.
because that's my equivalent of taking videos of my children's sporting events. Is
So you
you're not
don't
going to
you wouldn't even go
rewatch.
watch that later, would you?
No, and if you would, and that's what I've learned a little bit, is if you would go back and rewatch a clip, or heaven forbid an entire game that you recorded, maybe you set your phone on the tripod, on the corner of the stands or something, you're never going to rewatch that whole thing. And
Yeah,
what's the value in doing that?
I've learned
It's
that
just,
too. Yeah, I know what you mean.
but on the flip side, what day is it? It's Monday. Yesterday, my daughter had a volleyball. And during a game like volleyball, because it's more controlled and we're in a tighter environment, just a middle school gym,
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. Sure.
I can be ready because she's going to be up to serve. So I can get my phone out, hold it there, and say, "All right, click the button," and then there she goes. She does her serve. Maybe it makes it, maybe it doesn't.
I gotcha.
Let go of the
Because
button. You're
you
done.
can predict like something is about to happen here, and so I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a video.
So,
Okay.
so there's a little bit more control in that, and if I do that 2 or 3 times during the 45 minutes that I'm there, one or two of those might be a pretty decent serve. It might lead to a good play.
Hmm.
Um, and then that one thing would be worth saving, because then you can say, "Hey, check out this serve that you did. That was so cool." Or you can show it off to grandma and grandpa or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's just a fundamental difference between different kinds of sports. I
It,
don't know.
so
But
so it what my experience with videoing of my kids has been, it's actually similar to yours, except it doesn't involve sports. I like to look for video worthy moments, and some people would say, well, every day you've got moments worthy of video, and I'm not saying I disagree with that, but when I look through my library in Lightroom of all the clips, there's not a lot of there's so many videos that I don't really, it's not that I don't care about them, but it's just hard for me to sit and watch like, oh, there's my kid on the swing and 2 minutes later he's still on the swing. Like that might have been fun at the time, but I just don't go back and rewatch those videos. But I'll look at, if there's some pictures of my kid on the swing, then I'll scroll through those and I'll kind of like remember that event. But I just don't take a lot of videos of daily things like that. But instead I kind of take, I guess you'd say, targeted videos of my kids, in the same way that you have mentioned taking like the video of your daughter serving the volleyball, because that's going to be, that clip is going to be worth recording. I don't know.
so
Does
what I
that
mean by, yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And I did that day, we were out in the front yard and just throwing a frisbee around,
Hmm.
and the girls got some bubbles out, and then so my wife started doing waving the big bubble wand, and our two dogs were out there with us, and they like to try to catch the bubbles. And so it's just hilarious to see these two big dogs just jumping up and trying to eat bubbles,
Yeah,
and the little
that is kind of funny to
little
think about
girl's
it.
running after him.
Yeah.
She's almost 3 now, and so she will just be as active as the rest of them. And I got my phone out and I recorded like 30 seconds of her chasing the bubbles and the dogs chasing the bubbles.
How
And
dare you? How dare you, Phil? Record a video? What's wrong with you?
my phone is 4K, man.
So,
Who makes my phone? Samsung. Samsung. Yes, it's 4K. You got to do it. Yeah. But
um, so
as I was thinking about it, though, as I was recording it, I thought, there was this moment in my thoughts where I was like, what I would really want to get here is this darn near impossible shot of the dog up in the air, just lit second popping a bubble,
yeah,
right? That's what I would love to have from that. And this comes down to a fundamental difference between video and photo, because you're right, you can flip through your archives and see all the photos and trigger memories like that, but videos, you have to rewatch them, and it takes some time, and
yeah.
you
There's
can't
like an
just
intentionality
create them.
to it.
Like, you can't. I've got right behind me, there's a calendar with a dandelion blowing in the wind. That photo right there, I can see that every time I turn around
Hmm.
and think of something related to that. You can't just post a video on the wall, at least not now,
Yeah.
technologically, where we're sitting. 10 years from now, maybe digital
Well, I
video
mean,
frames will
you
be
could have
fine,
like
but
you could have like a 20-inch TV mount on the wall that would be showing video clips or something.
yeah, or like a just a roll. um
I mean, it's interesting
right.
how there. So we've got we have a digital frame. It's just a basic 10-inch digital frame, and I am consistently amazed at how much that simple little digital frame. It's a cloud connected Wi-Fi frame, so it's easy to put photos on. I'm continue to be amazed a year after getting it of how much I appreciate that thing and how it has really transformed how I interact with the pictures that we have on it. We have it display one picture every hour.
Wow.
So, and I'm telling you, if for anyone who wants a digital photo frame, has been thinking about, that is the key. Don't switch your photos very often. Switch them every hour, every 2 hours. So many people make this mistake of digital frame. I better set to every 15 seconds, 30 seconds, minute. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because it doesn't allow you to absorb that image and just exist with that image, because it's always changing, and you're always like, if there is an interesting picture, you got to look at it quick or it's going to disappear and it might not show up for another couple months. But if you put it on every hour, which is the minimum ours can do, I'd do every 3 hours if it did, then it sits there and it becomes a part of your living room for the time it's there. And you don't have to worry about rushing over to see it right away, because you know it'll be there. And where I'm getting with this is, I'm amazed at how many of those pictures show up. They'll sit there for an hour and they'll trigger a story. And suddenly we'll be talking about, oh, do you remember? Yeah, that's when he was a year and a half old and he was doing this thing. And oh, yeah. Hey, come here, kids. Look at this. And that happens almost every day. And we've had this frame for a year. And it's because it's this single image that captures a moment in time, and it sits there for a long time. And video is so, you have to be engaged with it. And if you miss the first part of a clip, you want to rewatch it. Like, what did I miss? So I don't interact with videos of my kids in the same way as I do pictures. Whereas a single picture can trigger a story or a whole memory or a conversation. A video, it's it doesn't work the same for me. I don't interact with it in the same way. And I think having that digital frame has really taught me this. And I wouldn't say that frame has changed my approach to video, because it hasn't. But it's helped me realize how I interact with photos. And that has helped me, I guess you'd say, focus my approach for videos of my kids. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, that's crazy. That makes an insane amount of sense. And that completely sort of contradicts the idea of take as many photos as you possibly can, build up libraries of tens of thousands of photos. And then what we talked about this on a show a while back about, what do you do with all those photos?
Yeah.
What do you print them? Do you do a photo frame, whatever? Everybody that I've seen that has a digital photo frame, it changes a lot.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I have never thought about this before. That's just what you do with a digital photo frame, because you have 10,000 pictures.
You got to see them
sitting
all, right?
behind it. You have to show them all.
It's interesting. But
that's completely backwards to what you just described. And I just had this aha moment when you were talking just now, because if you curate those photos, which is super easy to do, because you can use your phone to pick which ones you want and just save them to like a live album or something. Right. There's tons of ways to do that. And you can do that anytime. You don't have to do something on the frame. It's not intensive to pick photos for those. But yeah, doing them as slowly as you can.
Yeah, man, do it slow. Show those pictures as slow as you can. And the thing is,
counterintuitive.
The thing is, it's weird. I don't know. We've got like a couple thousand photos on that frame, and we still see repeats over time, because it's just on a perpetual shuffle. And even despite the fact that we've got photos spanning probably 20 years on that frame, and the majority of them taken in the last 5 years with our kids, despite the fact that we've got all these photos, we see them all. I mean, we see them all, even though they only switch every hour. We still see new photos, and I continue to add new photos. But I'm serious. I've never felt deprived. Like, oh man, when's that frame gonna show that picture? Like, they're just there. They sit there on the and it's a memory that sits there, and you can absorb it and talk about it, and you don't have to rush it, because it's just gonna be there for a while. And then it'll change. You'll have another.
You probably don't worry about missing it, do you?
I never do. No.
So I'm seeing us sitting at our parents' house in their dining room. They've got a little digital photo frame there, and it changes every 30 seconds.
Oh
or
my
something.
Goodness! Yes.
And
I've talked
over there, and every time you see one, by the time you tell somebody else,
it's gone.
Hey, you remember that thing? Or it's gone. Or you look over there, and just a split second to see something before it changes to something else.
Yeah, I actually talked to mom and dad about that when they got their new one. They got the same frame we do, and I talked about it, and I tried to convince them of this. I said, change it slower. Start with maybe every 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And dad was like, nope, we got to change them every 30 seconds so we can see all the photos. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I would tell anyone else, like, if you haven't decided this yet, change those photos less often. And I don't know how we got on this from video, but so when I take videos of my kids, I mentioned before, I look for these video worthy moments, and I don't know what's going to be a video worthy moment, but what I like to do is capture a couple minutes in time by way of recording an intentional conversation with my kids. So we'll be sitting around. It's a Saturday morning. Nothing is happening necessarily, but I'll pull out the camera and I'll take a 2 or 3 minute video of my kids, and I'm basically interviewing them impromptu from behind the camera. And I'll say like, so older child, like I don't want to say his name, but so older child, you lost a tooth last night. How'd that go? And then he'll say like, yeah, I lost his tooth and blah, blah. And then like my younger child's eating Legos or something. And then I'll turn over to him like, younger child, now what do you got there? And every time I do this, I also I narrate the day of the time and date. And so I'll say, yeah, it's May 13th, 2019. Older child, you lost a tooth last night, blah, 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 blah. So that there's a record of it, because I've gone back to old videos of when the kids were really little and I don't know when I took those videos. So I just I build that into every video I take. And that sounds excessive, but I don't take a lot of videos, but a couple times a month I'll take a video and I always narrate it so that I narrate the day, the date, so that I can come back to it later and I know when I took it. And I've found that when I go back and look at videos, if it's a clip of my kids, before on the swings or playing with their friends or whatever, I'll watch it for 10 seconds. I'll kind of just like, okay, I get the point. I don't need to watch this for 2 minutes. But when there's some sort of story being told by the kids, usually not important, but just like, look at this pile of mud I made. And then I'm narrating like it's April 4th, 2012. He just turned 5. And I kind of have a conversation with one of the kids or both the kids. Those are the videos that I'll sit and watch. And my kids will sit and watch it because there's a story going, even though it's totally made up on the spot, but it helps capture a little moment in time of what is happening with my kids' lives.
Okay, I'm absolutely giddy over here because I have recently discovered the same kind of thing, and it is.
Have you really?
So it's
like transformative,
hit the nail
isn't
on
it?
the head. Like you cannot do it any better than that.
Cheers.
Okay, so there's something completely different about videos of something happening versus those videos where nothing's really going on, but you just talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got a new car a couple weeks ago, and maybe we were just test driving. I don't know, but I do have one of these. My son's sitting in the car, like playing with the window. And so I get up my phone, I start a video. I'm like, hey, so what's going on over here? What are we doing today?
There you go.
Well,
sure.
Here's our new car, and it smells like farts, and it's blue, and they do what kids do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is worth 1,000 clips of someone kicking a soccer ball.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The value of that, I cannot overstate how much more valuable those are in the long term. Because you want to see, fundamentally, there's a difference between videos with sound and photos.
Mm.
And man, there's just so much going through my head. I'm having a hard time articulating it because of how fundamentally important this really is and how just amazing it is. If you have videos daily or weekly or even monthly of just talking to them about something. Hey, it's raining outside. Dad says we can't go play in the mud, so I'm stuck in here playing the Xbox again or whatever. But you can put that back on in a couple of years and it just hits you. You're like, oh man.
Well, so
remember those days when
it's interesting you say that. When we were kids, you must have been really little. We were in Minnesota. We used to live in Minnesota, and we moved to Nebraska when I was 6. So you would have been like 4. We were in Minnesota, and our Uncle Frank had a video camera. You had to stick a VHS tape in. It's just huge. It looks like a giant boombox. But he had a video camera way back in like probably 1984. And there's a clip out there where Frank came over with his video camera, and a bunch of, like, me and our brother Andy, and maybe you were even there, Phil, and a bunch of the cousins were all having Christmas. And Frank, as he's recording, he kind of goes from kid to kid, and we're all like 4 or 5 years old. And he's like, Simon, what did you get for Christmas? From behind the camera. And I'm just like this little kid. And I'm like, I got this Ernie doll. And Frank's like, oh, do you like Sesame Street? I like Sesame Street. And my favorite character is Big Bird. And he's having this conversation. And so somehow I came across this video, 30 years later. And seeing that, and seeing me, and maybe you were there, Phil, like all of us kids talking about our lives, and kind of explaining this moment in time, like, here's what life looks like for me as a 5-year-old. Looking back on that as a 38-year-old or 39-year-old, that was so cool to see, because it wasn't just an activity passively being recorded. It was the kid, me, and the others talking about our lives. And so that's the approach I've tried to take with my own kids, where the videos that I'm going to find valuable later on aren't necessarily running around in the yard, but my kids telling me and my wife about their lives. So,
well, yeah, a video of the kids covered in mud running up to you and saying whatever it is about what they're doing, and rewatching that, them telling you about what's going on, and then to go along with that, maybe 1 or 2 photos of them running around, of the sprinkler going, and or whatever it is. But it's got to do with the way that a photo triggers a memory, and you're responsible then for narrating that. If you, other than maybe the handwritten date and event on the back, you're responsible for reliving that in your head and then translating it to the people who are with you. You're sitting there with your kids looking at old photos. Yeah, this is what the lake was like when we were kids, and I think we used to catch turtles, but I don't quite remember. It to go along with that, a video, you could be like, hey, look, this is my turtle. Oh, I bit my thumb. Ow.
Yeah, there's a story behind it.
Different things, but
yeah,
man, there's.
Oh, Phil, we've had a epiphany here on Camera Dads tonight. Yeah. I got to get going. I think if I were to kind of sum this up, you mentioned, you said 4K earlier. I think, if your phone, to anyone listening, if your phone shoots 4K HD, great. I record all my videos in 720p. I just don't care about 4K, because 4K, I would rather have a lo-fi, low-quality video of my kids talking about their day than a 4K video of them kicking a soccer ball around. And not like, you can have both. I'm just saying, don't get caught up in, do I do it 4K, 1080? Do I 720?
Don't even think about that.
Do I do mono or stereo? What's my bit rate? Do I use my DSLR? Do I use my phone? Don't worry about that. My advice would be to take videos in some sort of intentional fashion, just like what you were saying, Phil, about your son in the car, and capture those slices of life, because you're probably more likely to go back and watch those and get something out of those videos later on. And yeah, storage is so cheap. Some would say it doesn't matter, just video everything. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But I find that
you're never going to watch that.
Yeah, I find that highly impractical. And then I get to the situation where I got so much junk recorded, I better trust Google to figure out what's worth watching. And I don't want to go down that road. I want to take videos that are going to be meaningful and require just a little effort on my part, but it's worth it.
I absolutely agree with that. I know you want to get going. There's two other quick things that I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to mention.
Go ahead.
So one thing that has surfaced recently, completely without my intervention, but it reminds me of us when we were kids. Uh, my oldest son has a phone, and we got it for him so that when he goes bike riding in the summer, we can use the GPS and make sure he gets to somewhere, or he can text us when he gets to somewhere or whatever. But he's been using it to record science experiments with him and his sister.
Okay.
So I haven't gone back and seen these yet, but I helped him. I helped him cut a hole in a cardboard box so that he could stick the phone in sideways and hold the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Kleenex box. Just cut a slit in it, stick the phone in there so that it holds it.
Okay.
And
almost like a tripod.
Yeah, and so he can set that on the table, and then him and his sister can stand 5 feet away in the kitchen and play with dish soap and hot water, and make whatever it is that they're making. And they'll talk through it. They'll make a show out of it.
Yeah.
I am very excited about seeing those.
That's really cool.
They've done this a couple of times. They'll take the phone outside, set it out, lean it up against a tree, and take videos of themselves doing science experiments with the garden hose.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the kind of stuff that you and I used to do with our rest of our siblings when we were kids.
Yeah.
Just make stuff up, only they're making little made up shows about it that we used to do too, only they're actually getting to record their little shows.
That's really cool, man.
I can imagine a YouTube channel of backyard science kids or something, just these. I just think that's really fun, and they're doing it on their own, and I think that's going to be a great thing to go back and watch.
I agree.
Kind of see them doing what they do.
Nice idea. I like that.
So that's pretty cool, and that has sprung up completely on its own. Very excited about that. One other thing, real quick, and
Yes.
this is about intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
Our younger brother, his name is Tom. He was on this kick for a while with an app called 1 Second Every Day.
Yeah.
At 1SED, 1 second every day. And the idea is you record at least 1 second of video every day. And then at some point in the day, you go back and look at the videos that you took, and you pick one clip 1 second long, and you save it. And then over time, it's not worth anything till probably a month in. You'll have 30 seconds worth of video. And it's just 1 second of each day. And it helps you to intentionally record something about a given day, even if it's not meaningful. It's part of your,
sure.
it's part of this, it's like making a quilt in video form.
Okay.
Because
I got
what
you.
you'll end up with after a year is something that's about a 5-minute video with a tiny slice of every single day in it.
Sure.
And it's just really cool to see that.
So have you done it?
And I've done it I gave up a while back, but I did it for a month or two. And because once you start forgetting, it's hard to get back into it.
Yeah. I've seen his though, and it's really neat.
But once you get into that habit, as long as you stick with it, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And I was up hanging Christmas lights on the roof, and I remember this one in particular. My son's down there with this bright blue and orange Nerf football, and I'm like, all right, hold on. I get my phone out and hold it right in front of me. I'm like, throw that football at my face.
Oh, sure.
So
yeah.
I just record a couple of seconds, and he throws it right past the camera. I'm like, all right, put the phone away, done. And then later on that night, I get a little reminder. And so I just clip out that 1 second of him going like this and the football flying right into the camera. And I said, done. It's 1 second. And that gets mixed in there with all the rest of them. And if you were to do something like that with your kids every day, you're going to get something that is watchable quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole football game. But maybe that kind of a thing is...
Phil, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, and it doesn't require a whole lot of effort on the part of whoever's doing the recording. So it's
It's
like
not really.
practical
And
and meaningful.
if it comes to the end of the day and you miss something, just say good night, kids, or whatever.
Yeah,
Just good night, Dad. If you miss a day, no big deal. But
sure.
if you get into the habit of doing that over time, it's worth it. So I would recommend checking that out. 1 second every day is that particular one. There's probably others, but that idea is pretty cool.
Man, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground tonight.
I think we have. This is fun.
It's a good
Just being in
show.
here with you. I want to hopefully we can do this a little more often, but
Yeah,
life is life and
it is what it is.
camera dad. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time. This has been fun.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who's listening. We'd love to have your thoughts on this. If you want to leave comments on wherever you find this, if you're watching the YouTube version or if it's on the website, we'd love to hear your thoughts on video as it relates to parenting, video of your kids. I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. Tell us your thoughts on digital frames if you want. We'll take it all. So, does that about do it?
Thank you.
All right.
It's been fun.
All
We'll
right.
see you next time.
See you later.